because this genuinely made me mad. Okay, this made me upset. So if you don't know, every single federal employee. Well, let me backtrack. Elon Musk made a tweet on X or Twitter, or whatever it is you want to call it, talking about fork in the road. And it was this idea of federal employees resigning so that way they can cut those positions, right? Essentially what it was. That was a few days ago. Well, yesterday or Tuesday, 2 days ago, okay, it would be last week as this is posted, an email went out to federal employees saying, hey, if you resign now, you basically get paid administrative leave to September. There's a lot of clauses and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, it's from opm.gov, from HR at opm.gov. Everyone got this email, okay? Now, keep that in mind, because what I want to show you really points out to why I chose the topic for this week. This is my LinkedIn profile. You can ignore that. And I'm not going to talk about this guy. I don't know him. I don't want to talk bad about him, but I am going to read his post. It talks about the Trump's purge at Department of Veteran Affairs continues to accelerate. Okay, one, that's false. And this is before VA secretary is even in place, likely any day now. You can see this 1 day ago. He's in place, by the way. This person got that wrong. Sources who are also veterans inside VA have shared this email with me. And basically what you see from this right here, it's this like insinuation of this huge conspiracy theory that Trump is targeting the Department of Veteran Affairs. And that's what this person is putting out, okay? The email subject is fork in the road. They describe it as madness, what a clown show, blah, 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 blah. And then it shows pictures of this email. And see this HR at opm.gov right there at the top. And I'm not going to read the entire email at all. It essentially says, hey, if you want to resign, you have the option to resign. Go ahead and do that. And what makes me mad, Jason, is the insinuation that this email or this topic is targeting the VA, which it's not, because every single federal employee got this email. And you might ask, well, how do you know that? Because I'm a freaking federal employee, right? My email, my inbox right now has that email verbatim from the same address asking federal employees to resign because there are a ton of overhires, okay? What's an overhire? I'm going to explain that. An overhire is a position that used to be authorized and funded, but for whatever reason, missions change. For instance, going from a theater, it's DOD. So looking at CENTCOM, then transitioning to like INDOPACOM and UCOM focus, a lot of jobs are going to be cut from CENTCOM and pushed into other areas, right? As technology advances, you might want more federal positions on like electromagnetic warfare versus infantry tactics. Whatever the case may be, things change. And so now these positions that used to be authorized and funded are now no longer authorized, but still funded because they're not going to fire people and leave them out on the street. That's essentially what's going on right now. I know that because my position is not authorized and still funded, okay? And what the email chain does, it gives people the option saying, hey, if you want to leave, we're going to give you paid administrative leave to September. You can get a new job. You figure it out. It's your choice. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the VA. I don't work for the VA. I work for the Department of the Army, at least as of right now. And it's just, I know I said a lot, Jason, but really what I want to end it with is people will see headlines and immediately go with this administration's targeting veterans. And it's like, okay, one, we're just saying that. Okay. And if you actually look at what's happening, you will know that it's not just false. It's the way this person worded his post. It is, some people would call it fake news. I hate saying that, but it is intentional misinformation would be a better way to say that. I know that's a very hard pill to swallow and difficult to break down. But what are your thoughts on that? It pisses me off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we live in a society now. I call it a fast food mentality, right? Nobody takes the time to do too much, right? They get just enough information. And look, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that vote one way and a lot of people that vote another way. Mm-hmm. And politics is like sports, right? It's your team, and anything to paint the other team a certain way is just, it's going to happen. It's human nature. And I think that what has to happen, though, is that you have to take things with a grain when you read things. Go beyond the bumper sticker amount of information, right? And see what's really happening. The last time that we were working in the Trump administration, right? It's weird because we have this it's two different time frames now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because we got this it's a sandwich thing. So the other time there was a lot of, I think, confusion for some people because the way that he would articulate things. But if you look at actions, right? So that's what we have to look at here. You have to look at actions. Where is the rubber meeting the road? What is actually happening at VA? I will tell you that we haven't had a lot of time yet here in this administration. One, I think Doug Collins is probably a super good pick, number one. And so I think that that's good. And I think that if you look at the past, we had the Mission Act, we had Blue Water Navy go through, which was huge. We had the Appeals Modernization Act. So we had some really big, impactful things for the VA. Those were actions that took place. Whether you're somebody who likes whoever or not, it's all besides the point. At the end of the day, like you said, it is all about bipartisanship. Veterans are a sacred piece of our nation, and that when it comes to the elected officials out there, at the end of the day, we would have no elected officials if it weren't for veterans, right? We wouldn't even have a country if it weren't for veterans. So we are a special spot in our nation's fabric. And because of that, we really are bipartisan. Sure, people are going to disagree with how something happens or this or that. There's going to be some of that to see which ways things are going to happen, maybe for the betterment, hopefully, for us. But so far, I haven't seen anything traumatic. And I haven't seen anything that's really indicating anything super traumatic yet. Now, I will say this, and this goes back to my first thing. If there's any sort of information out there that indicates anything, it gives us an opportunity to tell our congressional members, hey, listen, I'm paying attention. We are paying attention. And we hope that you will never do anything to impact veterans negatively, right? So I think that there's those opportunities that we need to make sure we speak up, even if it is not going to happen, right? So it's a way for us to share our voice and to continue to protect and preserve what we got.